when you said, when I first asked you about how this had affected your relationship with Jesus, you said, I speak to him more. And then you said that it's through the scriptures and through other people and so on, and relationships. Could you just say a little bit about that? I mean, do you what does communication with Jesus mean to you now in this year? Do you speak to him? And if so, how do you?
Well, it's more actually being with him than speaking to him, you know. So I try to meditate more regularly, more faithfully, and so I used to put in like twice a day, morning and evening, for my 25 minutes of meditation time. Now I try to put in an extra one midday, or somewhere in between the two periods, and I find that is really a very stabilizing factor in my life, you know, even more so now than when I was well. And during the times of chemotherapy, or when my body is really feeling tired and I can't sit, I actually lie down and do my meditation, because to me that is so vital. Because I find that if I miss it, I get the panic attacks, you know, more. So I think it's this quiet time that puts me in touch with my source of being. Yeah, that's what I mean. Talking to him, being with him. Yeah.
And you were saying that you find with the meditation, it has a physical. You experience some of the physical. You experience effects at all the different levels of yourself. You know, including the body. Though you said you felt physical benefits from meditation, and that you didn't have to take sleeping pills.
Yes. In the beginning of my medical treatment, maybe because of the drugs they've been giving me, or just my state of panic, I found I couldn't go to sleep easily. So they had to give me sleeping pills. And then I got panic disorder attacks, and I had to take Valium and various other drugs to calm myself. And then I became a little dopey during the day because of all these drugs, and you know, my mind couldn't absorb things, and I was feeling like Tweety Bird. So I decided to do away with all these drugs, and I would go to sleep just reciting my prayer word, Maranatha. I've never tried that before because I guess I never had problems sleeping, and I found it worked very well. You know, just a few recitations and I'm asleep. Or when my mind goes into a panic state thinking of some things about my illness, I also use my prayer word, and then I become very calm. So now my prayer word is my one for everything medicine. And it works, and it's free, and it's no side effects, good side effects. So I never realized that, you know, rooting the mantra deeply in you can, like now in my life, you know, yield such benefits. You know, somebody did ask me, well, if you use the mantra to meditate, and that's supposed to keep you alert, using it to sleep, won't it later when you use it in your prayer time make you fall asleep? But it doesn't seem to. So it's really a one for all. You know, you can use it in all situations, and it works.
Father Lawrence, our community for Christian meditation has emerged from the teaching on meditation by Father John Main. And John Main himself had cancer at a relatively young age, and you were his primary caregiver, you know, in his dealing with the challenge of cancer. Can you Share with us your experience of in your caring for Father John, how he as a meditator dealt with the challenge of cancer.
Yes, I think I'll try to do that. Father John dealt with his cancer and with his approaching death at a young age of 56, when he was in the fullness of health and vigour and starting a new community with a lot of energy and a lot of hope for the future. He dealt with that in a very human way. What happened was that in 1979 he was diagnosed with colon cancer, and they seemed to have caught it at an early stage, and so the surgery was very straightforward and very successful, and everybody breathed a big sigh of relief, and we felt that he was going to recover and have many years of active life. But at the beginning of 1982, the cancer returned, first of all in the lungs, and then metastasized widely. And so he died in December the 30th, 1982. And really he was in good health, in a sense, in good vigor, almost until the end, although he had, in the last few months, he had some severe pain. But he was still able to give his last talk, I think maybe 2 months before he died. So I think the progress of the disease was quite rapid, and so we had to make adjustments quite quickly during that last year. And I think he certainly went through the experience of fear, and I think we all do that. What I learned from going through that with him was that this experience of fear is at our very human level, almost, maybe even almost at our animal level. We just it's a natural reaction. It's to a threat to life, that we panic, or we go into a different mode of response. But then I saw him deal with that from a very deep faith and a very deep practice and a very deep inner experience of God. And he accepted the advice of the doctors. He went through the treatment they recommended. We had our normal hopes and expectations, and we had our inevitable disappointments when we found that the treatment wasn't working. But then I saw him adapting at each stage to what was obvious, what was inevitable. He didn't anticipate that until it was clear, or pretty clear, that the treatment wasn't going to work. And then it was as if, not that he gave up, he didn't give up or give in that sense, but it seemed to me the best way I had to describe it was that he collaborated with the process. He accepted it, and he didn't fight it, but recognizing the inevitable, he was very conscious, and I think he didn't tell me what to do, for example, although our community was very new and small at the time and quite fragile, and he had a very strong sense of how it might grow and of the future, and we knew we were starting something new, and for him suddenly to be taken out of it at this stage seemed to me, apart from my own feelings about his dying, it seemed to me a real crisis of what was going to happen. And so I said to him once, what shall I do, when we were speaking about the fact that his time was very limited. And he thought for a few moments, and he looked at me very, very gently, really, and he said, well, you'll do what you've got to do. And at the time, it didn't seem an answer. I wanted some definite instructions. But and then afterwards, I forgot. I didn't think about what was going to happen afterwards because I was just completely absorbed in caring for him.